Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to our Tuesday, September 17th, City of Erie Planning Commission. Let's do a little roll call. Mark Klecker, present. Rich.
Present.
Tony.
Present.
Colin.
Present.
Jason.
Present.
Wow. All right. Does everybody remember the July 16th meeting minutes since there was no August? I don't think there was any problems. I don't remember any problems, so I need a motion to accept those.
I'll move for acceptance.
All right, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, City Environmental Advisory Council update.
Mr. Matthew Puz.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Matthew Puz. I'm here representing the Environmental Advisory Council. The Environmental EAC is how I'm going to refer to it. The EAC was established back in January of 2023 by ordinance. Pennsylvania allows municipalities to do that. Erie is actually the 161st municipality out of the 2,500 plus, so we're definitely moving towards being more proactive with our environmental issues. The board itself consists of 7 members. Freda Tepfer is the chair. Myself is the vice chair. We have John Michael Campbell. He's the secretary. Bob Howden, Sister Pat Lupo, Sam Mason, and Aaron Kerr are the other members. And they're appointed, they're citizens of the town, municipality like the Planning Commission, either appointed by City Council or the mayor. The roles of the Environmental Advisory Council are to identify environmental problems and recommend plans and programs to appropriate agencies, make recommendations as to the possible use of open land areas in the municipality, promote a community environment program, keep an index of all open, publicly or privately owned spaces, and advise the appropriate local government agencies, Planning Commission, Parks and Recreation, etc., in the acquisition of both real and personal property by a variety of means for environmental purposes. What the EAC does not do, is similar to the Planning Commission, as the Planning Commission is a recommending body, so is the Environmental Advisory Council. The EAC does not make land use or regulatory decisions, does not replace or compete with the Planning Commission or any other board, and that we do not enforce ordinances. And examples of Environmental Advisory Council activities include open space protection, sustainable parks, addressing climate change, invasive species removal, stream cleanups, water/air quality monitoring. And this is just a brief list. I mean, there's, I would think, hundreds of different avenues the EAC could help, in different activities. Right now, the EAC has 2 major priorities that we're focusing on. The first one is the Local Climate Action Plan, which I'll refer to as the LCAP. The LCAP is a comprehensive policy tool that outlines specific actions a community will take to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and/or adaptation policies a community can undertake to counter the negative effects of climate change. So there's 5 steps in developing one, and I will say that the city had participated with Penn State University a few years back to help develop a greenhouse gas inventory. However, there was an issue obtaining the electrical data, so I believe that was around 2019, 5 years later. The data needs to be updated. The city has been invited back into the program for this academic year, so hopefully they'll be able to compile the data and then move forward to the next stage, which is outreach to the community, which this has actually started. There was a grant that the city received called Partners to Places grant. It's in 2 phases. I will say this, I apologize for my ignorance on it. I'm not too familiar with it because I wasn't involved with it from the beginning. But the first phase is for public outreach and input, which that has begun. So once you have those 2 pieces together, then you set the goals and actions. then obtain the resources for implementation, and finally, then you implement the plan. And then what this would be is like a continuing circle, you know. Once you get to complete it, then you go back to the step one and just kind of revise as needed. Sort of like the comprehensive plan. The second focus is on litter mitigation with a focus on single-use plastics. We're encouraging, looking into having portable water stations for public events, as well as considering a citywide reusable foodware program. I think that's directed more for the vendors at said activities. And those are so those two are the major goals of the EAC itself. My goal would be to eventually, once the LCAP has been reviewed and everyone's satisfied with it, to actually amend the comprehensive plan as a component of the the natural resources section of it. The reason why I think that would be useful is that when you seek grants through, say, like the Department of Community and Economic Development, one of the questions they always ask is this consistent with the comprehensive plan? If so, how? So if we have that, the LCAP as an amendment to the comprehensive plan, then we can say, yes, this is consistent with the comprehensive plan and allow, hopefully, for future funding. This time I will take any questions or comments.
Anybody have any questions? Not me? I'm good.
Is the city part of the 2030 district? I thought so. I couldn't remember. Yeah, okay. I thought so.
That one,
Jackie's not here. Okay.
then yes.
Sorry, not to put you on the spot.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Oh, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you. Take care.
See ya. All right. Planning and Neighborhood Resources Update.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
So Matt was, the EAC is actually, I'm the staff lead for the EAC, and I missed the beginning, but the members are going out to the different boards and commissions at the city and explaining, as Matt did, what the EAC does, who they are, what they're trying to accomplish, and their priorities. So it's great because we're trying to align the priorities with also our other plans. So that makes a lot of sense. And plus they're new, right? They're new and you don't really know what they're doing yet, and they're trying to figure all of that out too. I think Matt mentioned also that the Penn State, they're called the LCAP also. It's the Local Climate Action Program. It's a group of students that are led by a couple of professors who are very experienced in sustainability and climate change. We went through this program already, and Matt had mentioned, I think Matt might have said electric, but we had missing data from National Fuel to allow us to give us accurate information with the greenhouse gas. We also did not have information on rail and shipping. So those were the three components that we were missing. The hope is that because we're going through this program again, it will be an accelerated sort of schedule in that they'll be able to get the greenhouse gas inventory rather quickly, maybe by November, and then move into developing the LCAP process, the LCAP. And then at that point, we would most likely create an advisory committee off of the EAC to start writing and proceeding with the LCAP. And then because we did the P4P project, which I've updated you along the way, and that's nearly complete, we can go out to that funder again if we wanted to the Partners for Places and ask for implementation money, since hopefully we'll be able to produce the LCAP, and then we'll go out for the implementation money instead of planning money. So that's sort of the road that we're taking. The P4P process like Matt said, I'll just start updating you on the projects. The P4P process, so there was a listening session with the partners. The partners were the community organizations that agreed to partner with us. They conducted a listening session, and we have all of that information that came back. Michael Baker, the consultants that are doing the project or that have produced the materials, they compiled the report, or they're compiling the report, and I think should be finalized within the next week. So that report will address the concerns for climate change, and also each community organization evaluated this kind of engagement, like the train the trainer, or this toolkit that we tried. So it was a different kind of engagement, and we wanted to know the feedback around if it was successful. Moving on, I'm going to start with Safe Streets and Roads for All. That project is, it has its first, what did that mean? Is that a question from the public?
We don't normally hear that sound.
We're moving, that might be somebody, okay. We have our first public event on September 25th at the Blasco Library. I have flyers for you, so you don't even have to write it down. This event is going to take place in the Admiral Room from 5 to 7. The consultant, Kittleson Associates, will be with us. It will be a very interactive event in that you'll come in, there'll be a small presentation, and maybe midway through they'll do it again, and then there'll be a series of boards like you've done in the past where you can place where there's traffic concerns, where you find that there's unsafe conditions, really trying to gain feedback from the community. We are also doing a series of other engagement strategies around this project. We know that one public event is not going to, it's going to only get us so far. The Blue Coats this week are distributing 700 flyers out to families across our city schools. We are working with the city's Immigrant and New American Liaison, hopefully to present to the Afghan, Nepalese, and Swahili community, because we know that these are people coming to our city. Maybe they are they don't know necessarily the safety concerns or driving conditions. It's a big change, and awareness and education maybe around that, and also their own concerns with traffic safety. So that's then we've also done a major email blast, and we have some other things in terms of engagement just for this first set of priorities. So I'll give those to you, Jake, to pass out. Oh, there's also a QR code. A survey, an online survey is up and running on the project website. That's what that QR code is. It takes you right to the project website, explains what the Safe Streets or Safety Transportation Comprehensive, what am I calling it? Safety Action Plan. The Safety Action Plans, which is what will come out of the Safe Streets for All project, explains the approach, and then it has a survey there, again, for the public that is asking where, how do you get around? That's what kind of mode of transportation you use. It asks if you feel safe, what are the conditions, how do you feel moving throughout the city, and then specifically, where are there locations that you're feeling unsafe? So it's a pretty simple feedback that we're asking for, but very, very crucial. So any questions around that project right now? Okay. I also wanted to mention that Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network will be with you next meeting. They are going to present their neighborhood plan that was just completed. So they'll be asking, I believe, for a vote at that meeting. I don't know if that's pretty far in advance, but I just wanted to get that on your radar, that Jake will be sending out either hard copies or, I know Heather had dropped off hard copies to us, but hopefully that you'll be able to review that prior to next meeting. And then from there, the hope would be the next day to present to council. But we've scheduled a study session with council as well, so that we can get that in front of them and make sure that they see it. 12th Street. I did see, Colin, that you just responded, and I read through your comments. Thank you. This is my 12th Street plan. The 12th Street, the public comment was closed last Friday, but I sent it back out to you all just to make sure that you had a chance to comment on it. Internally, the city had a lot of edits, so the revision, the consultant has told us that within 2 weeks they'll get us another draft. So we internally had edits. I know Jake took a look at it, provided his comments. So if you can, I would say this is the last week before the next draft comes out, if you have any further comments on the plan. Any questions or comments around the 12th Street plan? No? Okay. Parks and Rec, I wanted to give you a update. So, as you know, the RFP was opened, I guess in May or June, the first time. We received proposals, and we chose a consultant, and we were working with the solicitors on an agreement, and there were some unforeseen circumstances, and we ended up reposting the RFP. I think I did that last week. So I reopened, and DCNR was notified of all of this. We reopened the RFP, and at this point, I haven't received any proposals. The deadline is October 4th, and I know as of right now, we will receive at least 4 to 5 proposals again. Some of those are consultants that will resubmit, and some of those are new. So I'm hopeful that we will be under contract by Thanksgiving. I want to say by the end of this month, but that's not going to, by the end of October. But I would hope that we could at least move forward by the beginning of November. So, yeah, it was unfortunate, but it was the right thing to do to repost it and just make sure that we did it in a clean way. Okay. Also wanted to let you know that we had interviews last week for assistant planner position. This was the neighborhood planner position that morphed into Aaron Carey moving into assistant director. I adjusted that job description to make it a bit more flexible type of position, so that this job description really allows the planner to work in different realms and support the staff. We did interviews last week, and we hope to pick a candidate within the next week or so. So, data analyst was hired. I don't know if that person was hired last month. I think last month, so I didn't tell you about that, but we did hire a data analyst who sits in our department but is citywide. And then lastly, I wanted to just mention that, we've been talking about the zoning and Saldo amendments. We've had some discussions with our consultants regarding a grant that we could potentially apply for to do a full zoning and Saldo rewrite. And then we actually have another potential grant that we're looking at. So by next month, I hope to have a little bit more information about that. Lastly, I would like to introduce Heather Olson up, and she's going to give you an update on the Historic Resource Survey. It's kicked off, and I thought it would be better if Heather gave you an update. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other, anything else?
One quick question. For the RFP that was reissued, are there any concerns about the budget or funding being available or lost because of the delay? Or are we still in good shape for that?
DCNR, our point of contact at DCNR is really great. She is aware of what had happened with the RFP. She actually informed me, because the grant was received almost 2 years ago now. We are able to apply for an amendment and receive, I think it's a percentage of the total. We receive $50,000 from DCNR with a 1-to-1 match by the city. She's informed me that I could ask for more money because of inflation, because of the time that it's taken. So, because she, so they do approve those quarterly. But once we're under contract, then I would go ahead and submit a letter, a letter of request, it's called. But yeah, they're supportive and they understand.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
So as Jackie just explained, my name is Heather Olson. I work in the planning department in the historic preservation planning position. And
Can you speak up a little?
yes, hi. Love microphones, love cameras. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Heather Olson. As Jackie explained, I work in historic preservation and planning for the city, and in project managing the citywide historic resources survey, which will be kicking off this month. We have chosen the consultant EDR. They're out of Syracuse. They specialize in historic resources surveys, data collection, cultural and archaeological research, and so forth. And I just wanted to give you an update on the phases and what that means for our city. So phase 1, which starts this month into October, is focused on community engagement. And what that means for us is that we will have a website, a story map, which is interactive, such that City of Erie residents can click on a GIS map, which is linked to the site. They can add photographs, tidbits from history, stories, things related to our historic resources survey that they might want to be shared or discussed. And the consulting firm will be managing the website. We hope to be doing some public outreach, maybe at the city parks, maybe at the Erie County Historical Society, maybe at some of the schools, to further spread the word about why our collective history is important, how that works with what's presently happening in the city, and how that's going to help guide our future to preserve and retain our special and unique places. So the community engagement phase 1 portion then opens up into research. So the firm, the EDR firm, will be conducting research with like the Hagen History Center, the state data sets and mapping divisions, the county, the city, to put together a full understanding of all 11,000 plus parcels in the city that are 50 years of age or older. The next phase will be the field-based survey phase, and the survey will include 8 of the 17 planning areas of the city. And so in the first phase, it'll focus on Bayfront, Downtown, Pulaski Lighthouse, and West Bayfront. And then the following phase will include 12th Street, East Bayfront, Trinity Park, and Little Italy. That is about 47% of the city, or 8 of the 17 planning areas. Originally, when we put the RFP out, we anticipated that we would have enough money to cover all of the sections of the city. And when we got the the results from consulting firms, that just simply wasn't a reality. So we will be going for forthcoming grants, state and federally, such that we can provide an equitable experience and survey the remaining 9 areas of the city. I expect that would happen in the future years. Once those 8 areas of the city are surveyed from public right-of-ways, and that data is shared, with the state and the state system, as all cities and municipalities do that receive these grant types. We will be putting together a report which the city can use, the public can reference and use, such that we can keep our history alive and consider how it will shape our future. So again, I just wanted to provide a really brief overview, kind of keep it light and bright, and just keep you informed. And I do apologize that I haven't given any updates in recent months or quarters, but now is as good a time as any, right?
Absolutely.
So, if there's any questions or comments, you can always email me too if you think of anything after the meeting. Yes?
You said phase 1, community engagement, interactive websites, public outreach, stuff like that. Do you have dates or timelines on when you're ready to start that? Are you gonna?
So I'm hoping somewhere around the 1st or 2nd week of October. I'm actively working on it, and the consulting firm will be. I would anticipate that there would be some press releases and some information the 1st or 2nd week of October. Okay. So that's a great question. Yeah. Thanks. And I will come back with an update and pass around some flyers at the next month. I think that would be a good thing to do. And I will personally be asking all of you to participate, to sort of be those advocates and those boots on the ground for the survey phase, such that you can hopefully spread the word and speak to people in your neighborhood of the city and pass along the project. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. We have any public comment? Yes.
Hello, I'm Barbara Matlack. I live at 4103 Dexter Avenue, and I'm here to ask you whether you have any plans for the building of the Perseus House, their building plan, the drainage plan, because we get water up there, and right now we have 2 holding ponds, and if they go with this many buildings, are they going to be a danger? A lot of us have spent $10,000 to $15,000 putting in French drains and sump pumps and stuff, digging ditches and things, but and then on the one side is just plain mud, I guess. It just goes down for about 7 or 8 feet right behind the plaza. And did you get any plans for security? Because
That's not what our board does.
Yeah, our board doesn't do security, but isn't most of that covered in the saldo? As when they submit for permits, all that, they have to go through saldo as well?
This is zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, as part of a permit application
Yeah.
process, yeah, obviously the construction drawing, stormwater management, all of those things would be addressed at that time.
Yeah, but nothing's come through us, so.
okay,
No, and we've not received
okay,
any permit application.
and I don't know, I'm not sure if you have to approve whether they get that building permit or not, but be aware of 305.5 that says if any, like chapels, park, playground, church, or any place where minors congregate, within 500, it has to be built outside of 500 feet. And this supersedes all zoning ordinances. I'm not sure if they're aware of them or not, but there's Elevate Park, which is right behind it. It's probably about 20 or 25 feet for the safety of minors.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but that
but-
comes way before us.
We're not the board that
Okay.
deals with
Yeah,
this.
we're not that board.
Okay, if you wanted to look at anything that we're appealing, I have
I'm sure
a
those
copy.
zoning and those boards would be looking into that.
Okay, because we're not getting any feedback. We just found out that they're changing the zoning ordinances. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, tomorrow. I just happened to see a public notice in the
amendments- The
paper.
amendments that we,
Oh, yeah.
that we acted on, their council's having their second reading tomorrow.
Council is,
So-
yeah.
So you have to go to the city council meeting
You know,
tomorrow.
so we just found out.
Yeah, it's not,
and,
you gotta
yeah.
go to the city council meeting tomorrow to address that.
Well, I can't make it tomorrow, but my friends are.
We can't do anything.
We have a thing to tell them what we're appealing, but we're afraid that they'll pass it, and because they pass it, it'll knock out any of our appeals that we have, that they'll just, because they're eliminating things. And one is group homes and group home facilities and things like that. And we're just concerned that we're getting bypassed. And I don't know if you have any,
Unfortunately, that's not us. Unfortunately,
see, I
sorry.
guess
I
I
wish I could help
thought,
you, but-
I thought you
Yeah.
were, that's why
4 times now.
I wanted to come here and find out if you knew anything or
Nope.
whatever.
All
Okay.
right. Well, thank you very much for being concerned.
Thank you for listening, at least listening to me, because I
Absolutely.
haven't been listened to before this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? Okay. Well, I need to motion for adjournment.
A motion?
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. 1:32. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.